Hey everyone, AK here. Welcome back to the channel. You already know the deal and the drill. I am AK Brown, the Fashion Connector, and my channel is all about connecting you to fashion resources, insights, and other connections in order to have bigger visibility for everyone doing amazing things in the industry. Yay us. So before we get started, make sure to subscribe if you have not done so. Like, share the video, tell a friend to tell a friend to do the same. Check out all of my links in my description, my website, my Instagram, and this handle is where you can find me on any social media platform. I told y'all in a video not too long ago that this was probably going to be a video out of order, but I don't care because I do what I want. I'm going to have a more fleshed out video on this around the time that I go speak at Magic. Shameless plug, boop. I'm speaking at the Women of Color in Fashion panel at Magic in this February, so really about a month or so out. So I really would like you guys, if you are going to be at Magic, come see me speak. Then come to my sponsored lounge by the Fashion Fund. They are sponsoring this, so thank you so much, St. Louis Fashion Fund. My nonprofit is also sponsoring, as well as all of these other amazing brands. So you can come meet me and all of the other amazing panelists. Let's get some drinks, let's chit chat, let's become friends, let's connect, all of that good stuff. I'm going to create more fleshed out videos around this topic, but I at least wanted to get this out there. If y'all don't know, your girl used to be a product developer, specifically for brands like Fila, Urban Outfitters, Auto, Anthropologie, Spencer's, Hot Topic, Hustler, you name it. I worked for a third party, basically like sourcing firm in St. Louis, and we took care of the design and product development for brands like those that I just named off. I now am a product development, I guess like freelancer, strategist, sourcing consultant, and I help brands come up with a product development and sourcing strategy, and then depending on their budget, I come in as their product developer and sourcing manager, so I can take care of all that and they can just go off and be great and handle some of the other things of their business. I know for a lot of people, especially emerging designers, emerging brands, emerging boutiques, whether it's you're wanting more custom pieces or you're just trying to really get a sense of like what it is to develop your own product, to source your own product, and you don't just want to go on like Alibaba and pick the same thing that everyone else is buying. I know it can be a daunting process of not only finding vendors or manufacturers, but asking them the correct questions in order to really figure out if you should work with X, Y, and Z manufacturer. So I have a complete list, which I'm going to put in the link, and I'm making this a freebie. You're welcome, of 10 questions to ask your manufacturer before you start the product development process. Question number 1, I'm bringing this up on my phone. What is the MOQ? So if you don't know what MOQ is minimum order quantity. A lot of vendors have some type of minimum order quantity, so it may range from small, medium to large. Small for the most part is anything from 0 to 1,000 pieces. Medium is 1,000 pieces to like 3,500, and then large is anything over 3,500. You want to make sure that you ask that, because you don't want to start the process, but then based on maybe you starting off and you only want to do a very small run to see if this is something that you want to stick with, you don't want to be committed to having to meet a 3,500 piece minimum. And a lot of times you also should ask within that question, does that minimum does that go towards like colors? So for example, am I able to have multiple colors within that 3,500 MOQ, or is that 3,500 pieces per color, per SKU, per size, X, Y, and Z? Number 2, do you accept orders under the MOQ? And if so, do you charge a small lot fee? A lot of manufacturers may have customers that place big orders, anything from 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 plus pieces. And when they get into production, they are reserving space on their production floor, you know, because they need to make sure that they have enough resources, materials, workers. They don't like to take workers off of the line from a big order to make your small ass order. That's just what the hell it is. If you are willing to pay a small lot fee, they may be more willing to take workers off the line to work on your feet. On top of that, they have to book space for the production, especially from a cargo boat perspective, because once production is done, if it's coming from like China or Bangladesh, they are booking a cargo boat and they have to book enough space in order to put the product on the boat in order to come to the ports. They need to be able to charge for that because they're taking space away from their big customer in order to make space and time for you. If they do have an MOQ, and if you're not able to meet that MOQ, a good thing to ask is, would you be able to accept orders under the MOQ for a small lot fee? Next question, number 3, do you charge for samples? And if so, how much? The how much is obviously going to depend on the type of product that you are working within, your design, and how detailed and intricate that design is. You probably want to ask this question when you have some type of tech pack or just an idea of the design that you want to do. But you also very much need to ask if they provide samples and if they charge for samples, because you don't want to be asking for a whole bunch of samples and then you get a bill for $1,000 before you even started production or even product development. Ask if they provide samples and if they charge for samples, and if so, how much do they charge for samples based on your tech pack or your designs. Number 4, what is the lead time for sampling? Now, when I get into this video soon, we're going to talk about like finding lead times for production and stuff like that. And typically production lead time is about 4 to 6 weeks, a month and a half. However, you want to build in time for samples and sample review. You want to ask, depending on the product, what is the sample lead time? When we were developing product for cold weather accessories, hats, scarves, gloves, with our established factories, our lead time for the most part was between a week and a half to 3 weeks, depending on how busy they were, the time of season, and again, how just intricate the tech pack or the design was. So you probably also want to ask this question when you do have a sense or an idea and really a visual representation of what the product is that you can show them, and they can be able to say, we'll probably be able to get this done in a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Number 5, what is the lead time once the order has been placed? When you're really looking at some of these videos on YouTube, when they reference lead time, they are most likely talking about production lead time. Production lead time for the most part is between like 4 to 6 weeks, but that all varies on how many pieces you're placing in your order. So that also goes probably into the MOQ. It goes into the season, the time of the year. Say if you're trying to place an order around probably this time right now, production is going to be delayed because they are getting ready, they as in China, are getting ready to go into Chinese New Year. Also around this time, almost 3 years ago, everything was fucked up and delayed because this was the height of COVID in China. Nothing was moving. So anything that was probably in the process of being made was probably halted for, if not 6 to 8 months, almost a year, just based on what I've seen and what I've heard, especially conversations on Clubhouse. So you very much want to ask what the lead time is, and also ask within this question, is there anything that may affect the lead time, whether speeding it up or slowing it down. Number 6, this goes into, especially if you're really customizing your product. Are you able to dye and match to colors? Or do you prefer for me to pick colors off of fabric cards, and can you send fabric cards that you have available? You probably need to have some big bucks to do dye and match. Your best bet is probably to ask for maybe fabric cards or swatches of either prints, patterns, or colors that they're able to achieve, and you could just pick off of the card, pick the number on the card, and you know that they're able to do it because it's information that they're providing to you. Number 7, do you have a list or some type of video of your factory's capabilities? A lot of like factories, especially if they are listed on Alibaba or if they have their own website, they probably have like a very detailed video of their factory tour that kind of explains the machines that they use, the technology that they use, all that stuff. But it never hurts to just ask to see if there's any additional information that they can show you, just to, you know, kind of solidify, oh, they really do know what they're doing. Number 8, if they can send examples or pictures or references of their work, or even if they can share maybe any past clients that they have worked with. A lot of these factories have no issues doing that, and they normally have like PDFs of the products that they have done. If you're meeting with some of these factories, especially if you are at like these trade shows, or sometimes if they set up personal meetings with you, they'll come with these big old duffel bags of samples to kind of show you what their factory's capabilities are. Number 9, and this is very important. You need to ask about their factory's audit process, and more so if they have had successful audits and have passed audits. You basically want to check for any failures, and if they have failed, why they failed. Whether it was, you know, safety issues. You know, some of these factories be bribing other people, and you can fail the audit if you get caught bribing. So that's a very important question to ask, and you can formulate it however you want to formulate it. But if you can get information on their audit history, so you can see if there's any red flags that you need to be made aware of. And then last but not least, question number 10, how quickly can the factory start doing your product, making samples, once they receive either like your initial conception, your tech pack, stuff like that. Normally they're able to get started right away. However, it's always good to keep it in writing, in email, just in case there's any flukes or hiccups. I would just get in writing. So hey, if I send this tech pack to you today, once you look at it and confirm receipt of the tech pack, when are you going to start working on my stuff? Is it going to be today? Is it going to be tomorrow? Is it going to be next week? Is it going to be a month from now? I need to know so I can plan accordingly. Okay. So those are all of the questions that I had. That's not all the questions that you necessarily should ask. If you have any of the questions that you have come up with, ask them. Be as detailed and thorough as possible. When I make the second stint of this video, if I have other questions that I've thought of, I'll make sure to do another video like this and give you the additional questions. But these, for the most part, were questions that I personally would ask factories and still continue to ask factories when I'm trying to source factories for customers and clients, so that they can get a sense of relief that they are investing their money with a manufacturing partner that's not going to do them dirty, that's going to give them the quality product based on their standards. So that way they can kind of put that in their hands and move on to other things within their business that they should focus on. And I understand that's also harder for emerging designers and brands, because you don't have that luxury to just kind of like outsource that. So you are having to find your manufacturers. You're having to do that vetting process, and it may be hard because you're trying to do, you know, the marketing and the customer service. A lot of you guys are the models of your boutique, so you're wearing a lot of hats, and so this process may be overwhelming and daunting. So I'm just hoping that this video starts the process to make that just a little bit easier for you, so you can be as successful as possible in your e-commerce and boutique business. Okay. All right, before I wrap up, I want to reiterate again, and disclaimer, I don't know if she's taking new students. Jan Charté, she's on YouTube. Even if you just look at her past YouTube videos and the ones that she currently has, I even think she has a podcast. If she does, I'll make sure the link is in the description. Go on her page and, you know, her brand, and look to see what resources she has for e-commerce, because I'm not speaking necessarily only to boutiques. I'm from the product developer mind, so I'm helping anybody from a designer to a boutique. She specifically knows how to help you guys scale your boutique, and has done so for so many of her students, and has also done it for herself, to where one of her boutiques is $1 million boutique in revenue. Okay, if you have any additional questions, tell her AK sent you. I just cannot guarantee if she is accepting new students. If she is though, tell her I sent you. That way you can get signed up and get rocking and rolling, because you will be in good hands and you will not be disappointed in the teachings, the content, or in the experience of working with her. Y'all already know, as I said in the beginning, make sure to subscribe, like, share, tell a friend to do the same. Links in the bio. Follow me everywhere at AK Brown STL, and I will be in touch with y'all sometime next week. Bye.